Hi, my name is Matthew Bellisario. Welcome back to the BellisarioSonic YouTube channel from the heart of the Deep South on the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama, where we talk about music, records, do record reviews, interviews, and much more. Coming up tomorrow, Sunday, there will be an interview with the guitarist David Preston, and I reviewed this record here called Purple and Black Volume 1. I do recommend going and checking out my full review of this. This is a fantastic record, modern type of jazz and very modern sounding record. Great guitar playing on here. Wonderful piano playing by Kit Downs. Anyway, this is a really cool record. I would recommend going and checking out my full review of this, but tomorrow there will be an interview with him. It was wonderful sitting down and having a conversation with him. And I love discovering new music, as you guys know, on this channel. Today I'm going to be doing a reissue. So stand by. I'm going to be doing a needle drop. We're going to be checking out one of the Atlantic 75th Acoustic Sounds records today. You'll be getting my reaction on that. But I do want to make sure that you guys know about the upcoming interviews and some of the past reviews that I've done. In case you missed them, go back and check out. I did do a review of the Charles Lloyd album. The Sky Will Still Be There Tomorrow. Did that yesterday, and I did the Bill Charlap Trio earlier this week. The Village Vanguard live recording, and then again, got signed editions from Blue Note. And then if you guys missed the review of the debut album by Charles Chen, go check that out. This is a really cool album. I love the cover. Great jazz here. But today we're going to get into Dr. John, the Night Tripper, Gris Gris. So I appreciate you guys hanging out on the channel. I appreciate you guys leaving your comments, giving the thumbs up, sharing the videos on this channel. What makes it a little bit unique is I play the records for you. This was released in 1968 on the ACO label, January 22nd to be exact, 1968. It was recorded at Gold Star Studios in 1967. This particular edition is mastered by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound from the original master tape and pressed at QRP. I did also earlier this year when the Dr. John in the Right Place came out, I did a full review of this. This sounds fantastic. So if you guys are interested in picking this one up, I really like this album. So now we go back here in time. We go to the, I believe this is the first record that he actually put out. And Dr. John Malcolm John Revenack Jr. is his real name. And he was born in November 20th, 1941 in New Orleans, Louisiana. He died June 6, 2019 at 77 years of age in New Orleans, Louisiana. But he's kind of cool. He started off as a session musician in the late 50s, really gained a following after the release of this album in 68. He recorded around 30 studio albums, 9 live albums, and contributed to, I believe, thousands of recordings with other musicians. In 1973, he did achieve a top 10 single off this record here, Right Place, Wrong Time. So again, fantastic recording there. It sounds wonderful. His father ran an appliance shop in the east end of New Orleans, fixing radios and televisions and selling records. So he grew up in the Third Ward of New Orleans and was inspired by the minstrel tunes sung by his grandfather and other family members who played the piano. When he was a young boy, his father exposed him to jazz musicians King Oliver and Louis Armstrong, who later would inspire his release, The Spirit of Satch, that he did in 2014. Throughout his adolescence, his father's connections enabled him to access the recording rooms of rock artists, including Little Richard and Guitar Slim. He began later to perform in New Orleans clubs, mainly on guitar. When he was about 13 years old, Revenack met Professor Longhair. He became very impressed with Professor Longhair, began performing with him, and his life as a professional musician kind of got started. But in 1960, he had an accident. He was injured by a gunshot in his ring finger that he played guitar with on his fretting hand, and they took place in Jacksonville at a gig. After the injury, he tried to play bass guitar, but he ended up making piano his main instrument. And he developed a style that was influenced by Professor Longhair. Due to drug problems in the law, Rebenek ended up moving to Los Angeles in 1965, joining a group of New Orleans session musicians. And he soon became a first call session musician in the Los Angeles studio scene in the 1960s and 70s, and was part of that famed Wrecking Crew stable of musicians. Beginning in the late 60s, he gained fame as a solo artist, and he adopted this persona, the Night Tripper. Now, this album, pronounced Gris Gris, which I mispronounced in another video, and thank you, you guys, for correcting my pronunciation. I don't always pronounce things correctly on this channel, so I don't mind when you guys correct me on that. I appreciate it, so I don't want to keep embarrassing myself on videos. But this right here was, Gris Gris apparently was named for a kind of talisman that comes out of some of the stuff that he was into, this voodoo doctor stuff. I don't know a whole lot about that. This was produced by Harold Batiste. It was released on the Acco label in '68. The album was introduced this character of Dr. John, which was inspired apparently by a 19th century voodoo doctor. This album is now listed as one of the influential albums of all time. So, for example, the album was listed at number 143 on the 2003 and 2012 editions, and number 356 on the 220. All these Rolling Stone magazines list of the top 500 albums. So, apparently it's fallen down in ranking over the years, but nevertheless, they consider it to be a very influential album. Dr. John desired to make an album that combined these different types of New Orleans music behind a frontman called Dr. John, which was, again, this voodoo doctor named Dr. John Montaigne, who claimed to be an African-American ruler. Rebenek chose the name after hearing about Montaigne from his sister, and so he kind of came up with this character for himself. It's kind of funny because I was reading a little bit about it online, and Atlantic Records president Ahmet Ertegun was very reluctant to release this record. He was just kind of like, what is this stuff, you know? How are we going to market this? And the album did fail to chart in the United States and the UK, but over the years it's become kind of legendary. So that's a background there. I'm going to tell you a little bit more who plays on this, but let's go ahead and open this up and get down to playing the record. So again, appreciate you guys hanging out and joining me on these record reviews, and I'm going to take this out and have a look. As always, these Atlantic 75ths are just awesome. You don't get better jackets. These tip-on jackets with this Stoughton printing. Let you guys get the first look at the gatefold. And I have not heard this album. So straight up, this is the first time I'm ever going to have listened to this album. So this will definitely be a reaction video. I have no idea what this record sounds like. So we're going to listen to it together, and I will tell you exactly what I think about it. Let's go ahead and take this first record out, clean it off. All of these have been very good pressings. I've had to send I just got one record replaced because it was warped out of all these that I've got. All these, they're all double 45 albums, with the exception of the Genesis record, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, which is 4 LPs. But so far, these have been very high quality pressings. I've been impressed with most of them. There's been a couple that I've been, either musically, I didn't like it. A couple of those, like Hootie and the Blowfish, or a couple that were just the way they were recorded. You really couldn't do a whole lot with them to make them sound better. But overall, this has been a fantastic series, and I did a whole recap of this series up until now, about a month ago. So if you missed that, go check that out. So here we go, Dr. John on the Acco label. I'm going to go ahead and clean this off, set this on 45 RPM, and we're going to have a listen, and we'll see how this record sounds. Again, this is Dr. John's, I think, first studio album. I'll be playing this on the Fluence RT85 with the Ortophon Blue into a Shit Monty preamp. going into my Yamaha HS8 studio monitors. Again, these are 45 RPM, so got to make sure to set your record speed at 45, otherwise Dr. John will sound like he's underwater. All right. Side 1 here, Gris Gris, Gumbo, Ya Ya. Let's see how this sounds. And again, I've never heard this before, so it should be interesting.
They call me.
Oh, I did it again. After I just reminded you that you got to put this on 45, I go ahead and put it on 33. It's not supposed to be a comedy show here. Dr. John did sound like he was underwater, didn't he? All right, here we go. Second time I've done that. A lot of musicians on here.
Dr. John, known as the Night Tripper. Got my satchel of Gris Gris in my hand. Then we tripping up and back down the bayou. I'm the last of the best, they call me the Gris Gris man. Got many clients, come from miles around.
Well, his voice sounds really good. I mean, it's
running
like
down my
right here.
prescription. I got medicine to cure all y'all's ills. I got remedies of every description. I got it now.
So far, a pretty cool sounding recording. I'm just trying to digest this here.
If you got love trouble, you got a bad woman you can't control, I got just the thing for you. Something called controlling awesome get-together drops. If you work too hard and you need a little rest, try my Easy Light Rub or put some of my Boss Fix jazz in your breakfast. Try a little bit of yeah now.
Now the background vocals are over here. They were over here earlier. Drums sound pretty cool, really resonant. It's a pretty warm recording.
They call me Dr. John, known as a night tripper. A satchel of Gris Gris in my hand. Then it tripping up, back down the bayou. You know I'm the last of the best. I'm known as the Gris Gris man.
Flat pressing so far, it's been pretty quiet, no issues so far. When I clean off the second record, this is kind of a unique record for sure. Now the vocals, background vocals are back over here. Everything flipped around.
Trouble, put your business in the street. Seal it, Jupiter, my whole card, it just won't be beat. Try my dragon's blood, my drawn powder, and my secret sand. There's a little black cat oil if your woman got another man. From Kufa dust, black powder, ball six eyes, I know you do out the palm of your hand. Till she strand.
Vocals back over here, the instruments are now over
Put
here.
on your woman's feet, say she don't know that carry up on more. Gris Gris gumbo, yeah. Hey now,
Very interesting. It definitely has like a mysterious sound about it. It has nice warmth and depth to it. There's little things going on instrumentally. It's kind of set back a little bit. The guitar and percussion's a little more upfront. Of course, the vocals. But they're doing a lot of stuff with panning. They are moving things back around, back and forth to kind of give it a different atmosphere. So interesting. I'm going to let the beginning of the next song play, and then I'm going to flip it over. So that was Gris Gris Gumbo Ya Ya. Dance Kalinda Da Boom is the next tune. Bring it down. I'm going to flip it over to the other side so we can listen to a tune off of all four sides. Again, I appreciate you guys hanging out. This is definitely a different, completely different from the other album, In the Right Place. This has completely different sound to it for sure. They're definitely playing around with the panning and effects, things that they're trying to, I guess Dr. John trying to get that kind of mysterious sound on this. So we'll listen to a tune off of here, and then I'll put on the second record. Mama Roo. Vocals sound very good. They're very, like he's singing right in front of you. The sonic quality is very good. I'm pretty impressed with how it sounds, for sure. It's done very well. Ryan K. Smith did a great job with it. Medicine man got heat, strong power. You know better than to mess with me. Like a robber. So if you're a Dr. John fan, this is, where it all began. So far, this is something I'm going to have to go back and listen to again. Very different, very... background vocals here are over on this side.
Queen is coming, by me. Queen is coming to waste pack away. You better not get in the way. Got the second line fever today. Singing wham bam, hang the hand. Come on down, brother, follow me. Wham bam, thank you, man. Come on, brother, follow me. She was the queen of the little
Most of the percussion's over here.
She was the queen of the little red, white, and blue. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Come on, boy, now follow me. Wham, bam, hang
His
the
vocals
hand.
sound really cool. I
Come
think
on, boy,
it's definitely
now follow me.
a unique sounding
Wham,
album so
bam,
far.
grand sound. Come on, boy.
I'm gonna let the beginning of the next song play, then I'll flip it over. Again, I appreciate you guys hanging out, listening to these with me. This next one's called Dance Fambo. I'll put on the second record here in a second. The vocals are definitely emphasized. They're more upfront. You have some depth to this. The instruments are kind of like behind, supporting the vocals. Percussion you can hear. Very interesting recorded album for sure. Not typical. I listen to a lot of records and this is pretty unique. Just how they engineered this, recorded it, mixed it. All right, let's pull this down. Let's put on side C. So let me get this record off, put it in the sleeve, and we'll go on to listen to something off the other record. So far flat. They've been quiet pressings. Again, this series has been wonderful for the fidelity, for the quality of the pressings, the quality of the jackets, the presentation. You can't go wrong if there's any of these albums that you like. So far, they're pretty much, for the most part, definitive versions or very good versions of all these albums. Again, this is the first time I've heard this one, so it's more of a reaction video. And it's definitely very interesting, to say the least, so far, what I've heard. I can see probably what Ahmet Ertegun was talking about. He probably heard this and he's like, you know, what the heck am I going to do with this? Like, it's kind of cool, but is anybody going to buy this record, you know? And nobody bought it. But later on, this album here would do much better for him. Choker Court Bullion. Croker Court Bullion. Those are the tunes. So far, this is probably, out of this entire series, and I've got every single one of them because I'm subscribed. I'm number 282. You can see this is probably the strangest record out of all of them. thus far that's kind of out there and kind of guitar or something over here. Definitely one of these I'm gonna have to go back and take a second listen to because sounds pretty cool. So the songs range anywhere from 2 minutes and 20 seconds all the way up to 7 minutes and 37 seconds. This one's a 6-minute tune here. So what I'm going to do is let this play a little longer, then I'm going to flip it over and we'll listen to I Walk on Gilded Splinters to close out the video. Definitely a strange album. So you got a lot of interesting instruments on here. You have percussion instruments. There's obviously a bass. You got drums. There's saxophone on this, flute, bottleneck guitar, banjo, mandolin, congas. Of course, your background singers. So a very, I would say a very weird album. All right, I'm gonna bring this down. We're gonna play out on the last tune of the record. Very strange record for sure. I've never heard this record. It's definitely more far out than I thought it was gonna be. Definitely interesting. A lot of different things going on. They definitely were going for a particular sound. Kind of a Midnight in the Cemetery. if I had to
Some people think they jive me, but I know they must be crazy.
I Walk on Gilded Splinters.
Don't see their misfortune, else they just too lazy. Je suis le grand zombie, my yellow belt of choice on. And afraid of no tomcat, fill my brains with poison.
Got a little bit of a Tom Waits
Walk
sound
through
here.
the fire, fly through the smoke. See my enemy at the end of their road. Walk on pins and needles, see what they can do. Walk on gilded splinters with the king of the Zulu. Think I'm gonna come on, they kill it, come, walk on gilded splinters.
It's pretty cool here.
Did I word up? I rolled out my coffee, drank poison in my chalice. Pride begins to fade, and y'all feel my malice. Put Gris Gris on your doorstep, soon you'll be in the gutter. Melt your heart like butter, I can make it stutter. Everybody call me, kill it, come.
folks, I appreciate you joining me. Here we have another review there. I think it's a pretty cool record. Definitely strange. You know, if I had to explain it, it would be like going to New Orleans and sitting out in the cemetery. It's got a really haunting kind of a sound. Warm recording, wide soundstage. You know, it's kind of, the vocals sound really cool. Percussion, nice. If you like this record, you're probably really going to dig this. So, if you're a Dr. John fan, you're probably going to want to pick it up. Got a lot more reviews coming up, so stand by. A lot of new jazz stuff, new releases, younger musicians, all kinds of cool stuff coming your way. So I appreciate you guys joining me, more interviews as well. Happy listening to all you. We'll take care and we'll see you on the next video.